I was in bondage, hurting inside, painful, nothing that I can do about it. I was angry for a very, very long time, but I got tired of living that way, being angry all the time. My name's Darryl Green, and my life and the life of my family was changed forever. You see, my younger brother, he had just turned 17, 6 days after his birthday. He went bowling, as he normally did. He checked his shoes, he used their shoes. There was an altercation in a bowling alley. And as my brother went to leave, he was stabbed. And he died 4 days later here in Baltimore, Maryland, shock trauma.
That night, when I think about that night, it was just so much chaos. So we was arguing, and you had other people around, and and I understand now because I'm a man now and I'm older, you had egos involved, and it was a lot, you know what I mean, and children, because that's what we were, children.
When this tragedy happened to my family, I was a junior in college in North Carolina. I came home with the intention of hurting him and hurting everybody in his family that I could. I came home with a German Luger 9mm with the intention to do harm, because all I knew then was revenge and retaliation. I was angry for a very, very long time, but I realized that I was dying inside of unforgiveness. If trouble came, I didn't run from it, I ran to it. I always knew that if something was gonna happen, that I was going home and the other person wasn't. But I got tired of living that way, being angry all the time. And so I asked God to take the anger away and give me something else. He gave me forgiveness. And so it had been a long journey of heartache and disappointment. And I began to think about the young man who actually took my brother's life. I began to think about, he was 14. I began to think about, I know he didn't wake up that morning with the notion to take anybody's life that day. I began to think about his family.
I grew up in an environment where all I seen was negativity and anger, and didn't know how to properly express that anger. And the decision I made that night was a decision that I had no right to make. But yet, I did, and it took life.
We went to court, and he was sentenced to life in prison.
It took a long time for me to forgive myself. And I don't really tell a lot of people about this, but I had nightmares. And I'm not talking about here and there, I'm talking about having the same recurring dreams constantly for years. Waking up, sweating, can't sleep, can't eat at times. I mean, your actions can dramatically change your life and the people around you.
We got a letter in the mail from the state's attorney's office saying that he was coming up for a modification of his sentence. In court, Kim Yon stood up and he read a letter. And for 25 years, we have been wanting and hoping that somebody from his side of the family would show remorse or show forgiveness or just say, I'm sorry, or just something. Little did we know that Kim Yon had written a letter, but it never got to us.
For a long time, I wondered why I hadn't gotten a response. And it was a shock to me to realize that when I came in court, My lawyer told me that letter was still in the files, and that's where it went. And no one had seen it. So I asked the judge, could I read the letter? Because I felt as though I was robbed of an opportunity to let his family know how sorry I was for what I'd done.
And so for the first time in 25 years, I got a chance to hear his voice, and I got a chance to hear the letter that he read in open court. And then the judge asked my father, was there anything that he wanted to say? My father stood up and said, my son will speak on behalf of the family. And we spoke, and we told him that we forgave him. And he wound up doing 25 years.
I didn't steal their newspaper. I didn't steal money or steal a car or rob them, you know what I mean, for materialistic things or anything. I stole a life from them, a life that can't be replaced. And for them to be able to forgive me for that, wow. You know what I mean? When you wrap your mind around it, then anything's possible. Anything's possible.
It was this huge weight, this huge baggage that I was carrying around with me that was always there every single day. And then I asked God to take the anger off of me and give me something else. I didn't know what he was going to give me, but he gave me forgiveness. And that was such a precious gift. And so I felt free. And so I want others to feel get the same gift of being free. Because forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is about you. And you can forgive just because you can. Just like getting up and cutting the light on. It's gonna be a process with it, but you can forgive and start moving along your journey of healing. You know, and most important is healing. Healing yourself, healing your community, and ultimately healing the world. It's just that easy. It's not, well, it's a process, but it can be done, and you will be free if you move in that direction, towards the light. I am free. I was in bondage, but the moment that I forgave him, my whole life changed.